He's going to try to switch into Templar Brothers, but there's only so much fish you're getting out of this pond, right? 14 fishing boats, pretty good. Doesn't hold a candle to Anatan. Gathering berries, gathering everything, and even the fishing count, up to 22 fishing boats on his own pond. Numidon lacking extended lines is crazy to me. I think, did Anatan get that as well? He did. He got extended lines and built more fishing boats. Now, that does mean he's going to drain through the food, but we've already seen the value of burst gathering on those ponds. Like, sure, in like a 50-minute game, it's going to hurt you, but earlier on, it can give you the edge you need. Guys, 50 range units is going to lose. Sounds like you just need to micro more against the Nest Disease, right? I mean, like, it's not as if these units just shoot everywhere, right? It's not like this is the battle equivalent of just having a chain gun across the field. What's up, Faplop? Machine gunning those subs out. I appreciate you, bud. Okay, so Veteran Sea Horseman now from Numidon. Shouldn't food be his issue, not gold? The Pilgrims are still getting through, and also, wow, he's still got this relic. So free 2 split in the end. And Numidon's now gathering stone. So this is going to be, what, a defensive keep in his base, probably? Feels like he needs it at this rate. Slow this down. I mean, was the trap really necessary this early is what I'm wondering. Mango, good hit. Enough to scare him away. Anatan just blindly ran headfirst into that. That was actually sick. That slows things down a critical amount here for Numidon. He's about to have the stone necessary for a fortress drop. Yep. Time. We're now up to 6 Nest of Bees. 6. These are totally reasonable units. And this is not just going to end up with the entire army disappearing, right? Because that would not be fair. I'm getting a bad feeling right now. Double Mango dead. Horseman erased. And congratulations! Your 80% ranged army is now against Nest of Bees. No! Knobs always makes you look like a noob. There's just something about this unit. Doesn't matter the caliber of the player. These things peel you back like a banana. Numidon, I mean, he didn't even commit for the fortress in the end. His spring replacements. I don't know about that hot... You filthy son of a... I guess everyone's just getting inspired. I mean, this is what we normally call the Louis walls, right? Oh, I mean, Louis does it across the map gradually. After the siege changes, I think B was the first one who started doing this quite a lot. I don't know how I feel about it catching on more and more. Oh, God. All right, Nimu. It looked like he was on the course for a 2-0 up. But then Nest of Bees had something to say, as they always do. These bloody units. He doesn't even need the full wall, guys. He just needs the forward. Mangoes are going for the wallop. He's also stacked them together. Knights can't get around the back. There's enough spears to hold that back. And oh no! Look at that! Siege counter siege. Oh no! Villagers coming in for the repair, but at this point, it just feels like an uphill battle that you're never going to be able to climb. So game number 2 going down at hand. We're getting some distance again in our semifinals. And a reminder why Shushi has looked so dominant on Kawasan. Knights Templar and Shushi are by far the 2 most popular picks. But one of them has Nest of Bees. Full stop. Goddamn Nest of Bees. What a unit. So, let's mark it up. 1-1 apiece. Numidon's map choice. Does he choose excavation now? He could hold it for longer, I think. And he does. Dry Arabia. We're getting Chinese versus Delhi. Okay. Did Anatan expect this? Did he maybe think that it was a Coastal Cliffs Delhi pick? A Coastal Cliffs Chinese pick, rather? Because it could have made a lot of sense there. It was either here or Coastal, right? Whereas Delhi, I think this is probably the best place to put them on. Like, we used to see Coastal a lot, but I think Dry Arabia just feels very comfortable for them. Use the wide breadth of, like, capping into attacking. I mean, like, historically, this has continued to favor China, right? Like, they've been quite cozy. It used to be due to the Barbican drop, not so much these days. But still a pretty good one for them. And then, like, later on, we would have Excavation, where you've still got Abbasids or Byzantines, which makes sense. And French could be used for coastal by Numidan. And then Anatan would have Mongols, Zhon, and Japanese. And I think Japanese on coastal could be decent. Actually, like, any of his civs, now that I think about it, like, all three could kind of make sense. I guess Excavation has to be Mongols, which has looked really cool if you can get TC on the Uvu for the double villager production. Because, like, on that map, because there's so many stone excavation sites, if you get, like, 3 or 4 of them, you can basically get, like, 100% uptime on double production from your TC, which is crazy. Like, you basically just get 2 TC. Not quite out of the gate, but, like, a few minutes into the game before people are, like, even feudal potentially. All right, let's get ready to go, though. My God, it's so hot today. And what's up, farm man? Hope you're well, mate. It's been a while. Hope you're keeping good. All right. Let's see who's going to be the big keeper in this one. And in we go, folks. An absolute classic for Dry Arabia. Chinese in the hands of Numidan. 1-0. Anand has the unfortunate affair of having to play Delhi into it. A good strike back in game number 2. But it seems maybe he used those Nesta Bees a bit too good and reminded Numidan just how good the Asian civs are. Yeah, Dry Arabia. I mean, this map, historically, this matchup has been pretty damn good for China for a very long time. The Pro Scouts might have changed things a little bit, but I don't think it necessarily changed things for the worse for China. On the other side of it, with the nerfs to Pro Scouts, I might be tempted to say Delhi fare a little bit better. I think the weird thing here is, like, Tower Victory used to be the way that you kind of competed with China and Shushi with these repeater crossbows, but I don't think you ever want to go TOV nowadays. Even after the recent nerf to Demo Faith, it still just feels too delicious of an opportunity to pass up. And yeah, reminder, this is semis, so winner of this is going to be going up against Wham. Who's warmed up and ready after slaying the unslayable B3-1. Yeah, I think if you had to come up with all the configurations of what Grand Finals would have looked like this week, the least voted for one would probably have been Numidan versus Wham, just because B and Anatan's consistency and how they've been playing in the last, like, 2 or 3 weeks, and B much before that. But honestly, with what I've been seeing today, I mean, yes, the Wham one's obvious, but outside of that, I think this set is one where, like, Numidan definitely has a good enough draft, and with his execution to take it. So, double deer stack on the east side. This is a pretty damn good spawn for Nimu. He could just kind of shove this in casually. Like, you might not even need to go Pro Scouts. Yeah, chill. Puppy Paw is fine. He's been practicing and prepping for other things. We'll be seeing him tomorrow in a very different format. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, the keep it up game mode, like, guys, all I'm going to say, I'm not entirely sure 100% what to predict or expect, but we're cooking up some very interesting formats that should deliver probably the best Friday we've seen so far this year. Looking at the rest of the spawn, actually. What the hell? It's almost like a mini regions with some of these things. Like, oh, look at all this stone over here. Oh, look at all this gold. And then the deer's always close together. Yeah, I don't think anyone got like a resoundingly over the top advantage when it came to spawns. Maybe like a slight edge for Numidan because all the tree lines are forward, actually. So kind of an easier base to shut yourself in with. The Imperial Academy on the way. Pretty much everything going according to plan. This is why we need another patch, man. I need to see Delhi and Chinese having to change the opening build order. Remember when people argued about whether Imperial Official was worth it or not? And now it just feels like all the top players have accepted you don't IO unless you're doing some like super long Dark Age or playing Water. I remember Crackety saying about how he asked Louis about it. And Louis couldn't give him a clear answer on why it felt better. It just felt better. He's like, well, that's not good enough. Huh? Okay, so... Do you just do the Archer build as China here? It sounds weird because you're expecting Ghazi. But like, Archer Spears has been looking pretty good with China. It would be ironic as well, because I've seen Anatan do this, even against things like Delhi. Probably the most prolific Archer opener when he picks Chinese himself. So the math you worked out is quite close. I don't think it's a major gain, except that Faster Fuel gives you way more options what to do next. True, and it's also like long-term. I guess like maybe further down the line, the fact that you have not sacrificed the villager here. Actually, I don't know. Like I want to say like long-term weight maybe matters. It doesn't make sense because long-term one villager is going to make up like, you know, a small percentile of your economy. I think one thing it probably does is makes you a little bit more, not impervious, but reactionary to like aggressive plays early on. In a weird way. Like obviously it doesn't make you reactionary in that you can build spears as a reaction, but like defenses, getting the wood to do so. Because you have one more worker. Like at this stage in the game, yes, now we have all these drop-off buildings, but at the very start, when you build an Imperial Official, it's only for a mill, right? And then eventually there's a mining camp, but you don't often see people supervising that. So rats coming in. And like mathematically, when you think about it, you're adding 20% more. So let's say if you want to use the Imperial Official just to supervise gold, and you only have 3 workers usually on gold, maybe sometimes 4, like that's not even worth an extra worker, right? So Numu does have spears coming, which is usually what we expect to see against Ghazi. He's taking the more defensive route. And I believe Pro Scouts has already been queued up. Yeah, so we're 3 minutes away from that. And Numidan, he has got 3 on gold. So he's definitely leaning Pro Scouts himself. And he can even get a head start on it with the deer shoving if he wants to. Normally, deer shoving like this would feel really bad against, say, like French or Jean. Jean obviously just the XP of herself, but it's more the French knight. But when it's Ghazi, you know you can just turn around and stab them in the face. And great laming. Anatan just trying to remove some of the value on that deer shove. Cold Woodlines gives the illusion of a closed map? Yeah. That's why I always found Gorge an interesting map. Especially since they nerfed walling. It has an interesting level of making you feel exposed. Nim already has Pro Scouts? Welcome to China. You look away for a second and they supervise. And a little pro tip here. It's always quick because they're always supervising that mill. And there's that Archer follow-up. So Numu just getting a little bit of dynamic, a little bit of depth rather to his composition. Anatan is sticking to his guns though. It's just Ghazi. I guess this makes sense for Sacred Site win condition. Lets you flex between all the sites, whereas Numidan's very slow. And in some ways it feels even worse for Numu because he built spears to then go into archers, and archers are already countered. And then on top of that, remember, he already built stables to get Pro Scouts, which he's not now using to get horsemen. That has always been the interesting thing about the Pro Scouts meta. Ever since it came in, it added an extra level of potential counterplay already existing that didn't. Because you weren't building a stables to build horsemen, right? You were building it to build Pro Scouts, but you had the option for horsemen. Now imagine that flexibility in other buildings, like an archer range at this stage, or a racks. And we do sometimes see that with racks, by the way, like the flexibility to have men-at-arms with spears. But even then, it's kind of different because the pro scouts versus horsemen is not military versus military, it's eco versus military. The more I think about it, it kind of like reminds me, or not reminds me, but makes me think of a situation where you'd have a TC that also could produce like a spearman. Now that sounds insane, but like you get the idea. Like you probably would never use it for any villages, but the idea to be able to do those things. Hello, Fred. You want to say bye-bye to stream, do you? Quickly then. Say bye-bye stream.
Bye-bye stream.
Okay, off you go. Go play. Ugh. You okay, darling? This is a lot of Ghazi, by the way. He's finally adding in archers, but he went pretty heavy-handed on this. Yeah, I would have expected maybe an archer transition around like 10 Ghazi. So Numenor now just gets the more cheap, efficient comp of Spearman, which is good for him because his goal seems to be to go fast castle. So he's just remaining a little bit more lean. And also, we've already had a decap in the center, so Denial feels like it really began to mount pressure. I guess Nim is looking for castle by about, like, what, 11 minutes here? Anatan at that point should end up with roughly, like, 12, 13 scholars. So he can start teching himself. Double Sacred Site is pretty good on the gold trickle. Unfortunately, less than double. He's already lost a second Sacred Site. Yeah, when Freya wants something, you can't say no, huh? Yeah, I said your name. Now go play. I literally built you a trampoline. Go play on the trampoline. No, go play. No, trampoline, go. A lot of horsemen now from Nimu. Oh, he's just going for like the classic melee blob. This could actually work. It's kind of crazy, like the melee blob and how big it's getting. I've seen China do this a lot. I've seen B do it with multiple civs really efficiently. The other scary thing is like the more that this happens, the more potential for attack that arrives, weirdly enough. Because of how quick veterancy is. Takes you under 30 seconds. It's pretty crazy. I mean, Delhi definitely a civ that can eventually match that, but they don't really have the same scale point as you would as China. Right? Like, you'd have to be up at 20 plus scholars, and you'd have to make sure you have most of them in mosques to mirror that. What a funky stare down. Almost like Numa's backing up a bit. Okay, so does Anatan now sense it? This is the weird thing when you just get into a stare down. I feel like quite often at the highest level now, stare downs, tech ups become obvious. And that's why we've seen players take risks where they'll dive with their like military into your base. Because when you have a stare down, but then you stop turning up the stare down, there's a big question on what you're really doing. Yeah, I know. Go ask Mummy about it. I don't know why your crowns are wet. Don't know what she's been doing with those crowns. No, probably trying to eat them. I know, even now getting baited into spears. I'm not sure he actually is aware that there's a tech up now. I mean, he's kind of checking, but there's the confirmation. So it's going to be an age up. He's going to dive in. Numenor not paying attention. Gets grabbed. Big hit. Wow. Anatan, I can't believe he got that deep. I think he just felt safe because the outpost was going up. And now 6 workers down. I know, happy now to back off and just start thinking about technology. You stop playing Castle Age, and I mean, Numenor, the idea makes sense what he's going for. The timing just doesn't. If Emma is watching the stream, if you could kindly come and collect our daughter that is carrying a muddy box around my studio, that would be great. Oh, there she is. Thank you. Has learning down the way. Okay, so Nimodon has got Lancers coming. No, whoa, he's just... I just love this. Like, the game was decided in G2 by Nesta Bees. I guess we just punt our faith into them. I mean, in that game, Nimodon ended up with a lot more range units than you'd like, which is what allowed Nesta Bees to be so good. This feels like Nobs from a position of weakness. He has, like, no map control. There's still a lot of map to play for with Sacred Sites and Relics. And your opponents, in terms of their actual military units, like 50% cavalry. Curious to see how this is going to work out for Nimu. Hasn't upgraded the Horseman yet. Might be worth it just so he has a Raider. Men at Arms switch up straight away by Anno. PG response is going to be coming. Like, this is the point in the game where Delhi get a pretty big surge, right? I mean, you're already seeing it. It's going to be 4 relics being brought home. Nimodon only able to get 1. And it was the one inside his base. Horrible position. Sacred Sites are still ticking, but that can at least get decapped. Nimodon apparently feeling like he has an opportunity here. Looking at the military numbers, I'm not sure that's true, though. Anatan's done a good job of keeping pace. He's been bought enough time that at least the Archer veterancy is going to be there. Ghazi only 40 seconds behind it. Yeah, and on top of that, the Men-at-Arms already arriving with no counter to them.
Can you cheat at drinking wine?
It was career suicide. This is some skull and bones society stuff.
It's time to spill the truth. This is called Listen Now, only on Audible.
Anatan's Archers should get to play. It's going to start burning in. Nimodon just trying to actually open it into a front line. Scholars are up to things. I don't know what the hell's happening there. I guess he's just trying to absorb fire. Nestabee's going to target the backside, though. And that reload's going to be big. This is the strike he's looking for. Archers. They're all so low. Are you kidding me? He still hasn't killed them yet. They're finally starting to die. But the damage is already done. Oh my god. I cannot believe that. Anatan, it looked like he was going to lose half the archers. A full reload sooner. Instead, he keeps them all alive. Ghazi able to flood in and clean up. And that is going to be a clear out. Nimodon has nothing left to throw at him. And Anatan now with an overwhelming military lead. Great patience from him as well. Shaky position. Those Nesta Bees not able to find maximum impact. So we go from Knobs OP to Knobs up in the course of 2 games. Holy crap. That was quite the turnaround. Oh, and you know what? Shout out to AMD for also pitch perfect timing. Click the link. It just popped up in chat. Oh, did you guys notice how crisp and clear the Nesta Bees shots and fireworks were as they shot in? That's due to the encoding power of our Ryzen CPU. Couldn't do it without them. But damn. Great game by Anno. So now, 2-1 up. Delhi-Chinese matchup. Not the boogeyman here that most have experienced. That means, I guess we're now going to be seeing Excavation. No. Excavation's left till last. Next up, we're going to Coastal Cliffs, and it's going to be Japanese versus French. Now, guys, this is the map and the Civ that got Numidon that ridiculous win over Dumu to seal the deal when Dumu had HRE. So do not ever underrate the power of Numu on this Civ. Coastal Cliffs with Japanese, though. I mean, this is a matchup which we've seen Japan has struggled in the past with because of the fact they don't have crossbows against the best crossbow Civ in the game. Earlier on, however, these Dark Age Spear Spam plays have been looking pretty damn good. Oh, one sec. Got a message to respond to. Holy crap, guys. Why is it so hot? 1 sec, I'm going to turn on my fan. I just forgot I had that. Ah, sweet breezes. We need to flip the civs, don't we? Doink. It's your worst nightmare. That's right. The most memorable game of the week featured this man right here on this civ, on this map. But it was up against the HRE. So Japanese has to be an easy breezy, surely. Anasand, on match point, trusts in Nippon here on this Finna map, while French coming out from Nimu. Maybe a bit of an interesting pick to some people. Normally you think of civs like French for the widest map possible because of all the raiding points, but we've seen them more than just that. They are a boogeyman when it can come to these sacred sites later on in the game. Let's see how this is going to open up. We do already have the Dark Age opening coming from Anatanda, and it is going to be targeted towards the enemy base. He's heading over for the gold now. Numadon, fully aware of what's coming though, scouting it out early, is going to lame the deer and rush the gold. Love this. Anatan's going to try to snatch some sheep away. But that's nicely done. So he already stripped away 3 of the deer. If you get a fort, it would be pretty nice. I think he's not willing to risk it, because the problem is if too many sheep die here, Anno might say, okay, that's worth a tower and just a house. So he doesn't want to give it to him. Spear has finally arrived in the enemy base. Numadon is about to have enough gold for age up, though. Probably not to hang around. I mean, if you wanted to go for more than just age up, you'd probably need more workers pulled than this. But great early read. And that has had Anatan have to reevaluate and focus on the deer shove now. Which is quite funny, actually, because like that means Numadon could have kept gathering. Yeah. Like, weirdly enough, Numadon could have actually just stabbed away at that spearman and then kept gathering. But how was he to know, right? Like, he already took damage on the sheep. Was at risk of losing the scout to that many spears, so he left. Okay, so potential edge for Anno. Hasn't scouted where his second deer pack is yet. When he does, I think he's going to be a little bit unhappy. It's quite far out. And he's not getting the full deer shove value we see Japan thrive on, right? It's only going to be 4 deer, so a decent 1,400 food. Or another way to think about it is an extra 7 sheep. Looks like he might think about laming this side. So I guess like, maybe the goal here for Anatan is to try and force Numadon to pro scout. Which would slow him down quite a bit. That would open the door for Japan to potentially get aggressive, but I think more importantly, just look to castle. How do you guys vote on this one, by the way? Tell you, actually. Be honest, you guys just want to see this decided on excavation. I am curious as to how Anatan's draft is going to function. It did feel like Numadon drafted for excavation, so to have it go all the way to that map would be the dream. I think that's why he took this approach of choosing Coastal Cliffs. Like, he very clearly knew what he wanted to pick on this map. He wants to essentially strip more options away from Anno for the final one. Now, things that are good for Anno, he has a really good spawn for the gold here, by the way. Like, this is so much safety. Just one outpost could easily protect a lot of this. It's also very wallable. Like, I think overall he's got a pretty good defensive spawn, which is quite important against French, considering how frequently they night raid. Speaking of those knights, he is back on the gold, so they can come in, but considering the mill's already been dropped, he did already get wheelbarrow, but like looking at the macro, this feels like maybe knight into pro scouts. I mean, you have got a lot of deer to target here, especially after laming the ones near your opponent's base. Yeah, even another one getting killed a bit too early there. I guess Anno's just trying to make sure this deer isn't too close to the base so that pro scouts gets too much value. And there you go, it's confirmed. Yeah, not your usual. You don't often see wheelbarrow into pro scouts. The idea is that like if you have one, you shouldn't need the other. But this, I think, was partially a reaction to the spear spam. is that Numenor knew he might get idled off of the gold, so he wanted that mobility to get back and forth quickly. And then with the age up. A little bit of wood's being gathered. Outpost already in the way. And this is looking quite a bit like a hunker down. He's only got, like, what, 6 on wood? Oh, 11 is much more interesting. Okay, so he's playing age then. We have seen Japan thrive a lot now with these feudal plays, but you're up against one of historically the most dominant feudal civs in the game. Sneaky Boys is better than grass every time? Oh, yeah? Tell that to a Snoop Dogg secret party. How many people have successfully sneaked in there? And how many people have enjoyed the grass that exists there? Checkmate. We're going deep. He wants to hoover as much food as possible before the Mountain Samurai arrives, I guess? Does he maybe play this into arbitrary swiftly, is what I'm wondering? Where you just hoover up the deer and then you stay in your base with Guildhall while building arbors. A bit risky. You would be giving Japan momentum potentially, at least at first, and then you'd also give them the potential for 5 relics. But that would set you up for your hyper late game where, like, presumably French still runs away with it with mass arbitrary. Space like this can get chased away. Looks like Numenor's committing. I know, adding in more spears. I mean, I kind of get it from a defensive standpoint. Now going horseman as well. Okay, how's his food looking though? He's sitting on 11 sheep. The deer almost gone. I think he's got another one under there somewhere. Oh, one over here. And then he's got the farms littered in. Anatan, funnily enough, hasn't switched over to those farms, by the way. And I think it's because of the daimyo level. Like, you don't really want to be going farms over sheep, deer until you've got that. Well, definitely not deer. Because remember, with deer, you can get survival techniques to make it better, which you didn't get. Even without it, though, by default, it's better. And even better than that would be the wheelbarrows for berries. I don't know, it's always a weird one on, like, if it's worth doing it straight away, because, yes, it might be worth less than some, but it's infinite. Like, the value of infinite food there is very important because it slows down the drip feed of limited out. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's getting kind of weird now. I guess on a standard map, Anatan may have just rushed a few villages out into the stone to get the extra for daimyo here. But Coastal Cliffs spawns that further away, so it's not an option. It's not a safe option, not a comfortable one. And Numu actually adding spears. Okay. Alright, this is getting a bit interesting. Then again, Anatan made it that way when he went for this horseman switch up. He even tried to hide it, as you can see towards the back of the TC range. So the horsemen are pretty impactful once you do get that daimyo because of the Uma Bannerman effect, plus the extra melee tech level. They're definitely not going to beat knights, but they compete reasonably well for what they cost. Who's ahead in this right now? I guess the longer the feudal goes with nothing happening, you kind of favor French a bit because of the TC generation. It's like Anatan, I guess his goal with this play was to essentially block pro scouts. But Nimu's got 2 stacks. Like, I think he's happy if that's where he gets stopped. And then you've got to ask the question, like, how valuable are horsemen long term? Do you really want to be upgrading these into veterancy? Is Numenor going to give you a reason to? I feel like there's probably not. Maybe Anatan is just trying to insulate himself against the potential for it to be like a rush switch into arbitrary in the mid game. You have seen that quite a lot in the past in these more weird castle matchups like French versus Japanese or French versus Irish. And that has now encouraged Anna to go into the Yumi. So this is where I think like the 2-unit comp was weird for Anno, but the moment it becomes a 3-unit comp, I think he's quite happy. Remember, Yumi, very low base damage, but double damage into spears is where things are full thumbs up. Yeah, I still think like the best comp for Japan is, wherever possible for this point in the game, is Japanese Yumi plus Horseman. The Spearman is like kind of an detail. Onabegeisha are really way too expensive for what they are at this stage. But Yumi plus Horseman give you so much mobility and key counterplay. Because you're able to like Uma up, and then you can essentially just prioritize Yumi to defend against spears. Looks like it is going to be that Uma Bannerman. Numenon's pretty close to an age up though. Yeah, he's done a good job of actually keeping pace, which I guess shouldn't be too surprising when you consider he only built 4 knights in total. He's been quite lean. But we've seen he can be a killing machine with this. Like, I think, if I'm correct in the Dimmu game, actually no, he did scale knights, but we've seen him in the past. He'll do these builds where there'll be barely any knights, and then midway through castle, he's just flooding 10, 20, 30. Lightly looking at Guildhall in this game. No. Okay, so he is committing in the castle then. Royal Institute with 4 knights. And he's going to be adding more. The stables confirms that. For a second, I was wondering if we were maybe looking at just an efficiency archer play where you just go straight into Artillery, and then you get the crossbow stirrup stack down the line. Oh no, this is all about ponies. It's funny as well because, like, what is the Japanese answer to Artillery? There isn't a great one, right? Horseman's your best. Mount Samurai can be a little bit weird. Onimusha aren't going to feel great. Yumi aren't going to feel great. Spinning definitely don't feel great. Onabegeisha do not feel great. The weird polarizing thing about French is like the Arbitre's armor changes everything. Hobbs at Expo, so you can do anything you want. All right, we kind of have like a polarizing like situation between the twins. In a game early in the series, you had Puppy Paw going, this guy has too much range, he's lost. And now we've got Wham coming like, if you have Arbs, you can do anything. Oh dear. I feel led around in circles at this point. Oh, okay, got you. You mean you can do anything you want versus it? You think Spears will be Arbitrary? Isn't that like one of those, yeah, if you don't move, yes. Otherwise, no? I mean, Gambeson's is just so good. Okay, so Anasand, he is going quite heavy on the infantry still. He prioritized the Yumi upgrade, and we do now have the Mount Samurai on the way on a delay. And what is up, Faplop? Not too much of a delay before we got that sub in. Appreciate you, mate. Himidon, a lot of knights. I mean, do you really want knights on like a thinner map? Or would the Arbor play have made more sense? I guess now that he's gone Ruin Institute, like we said, it maybe feels a bit weird to do Arbor Ruin Institute. We very rarely see that. So he's just trying to capitalize on knight detail, but like he's getting nothing out of them yet. He's having a clash before he has any Ruin Institute upgrades that matter. Warlord pickup is going to be worthless. Immediately get sniped down. And Anatan now surging forward. Numidon in danger, just getting ran out of this game on Coastal Cliffs. Yeah, it feels like momentum has fully swung. Like, well, any dynamic balance between it is gone. Numidon's in full turtle mode. He has got Royal Bloodlines on the way, but he's a minute 15 out. And not many knights currently. There is also a gold issue as well as a food issue. The gold's pretty far out on the flank. The other one is part of the wall. The boar's pretty out there. Game definitely not over yet, but Anatan's starting to get this kind of suffocating control on the map, and he has got an Onimusha switch up on the way. Okay, game on. Uma Bannerman going to buff the entire comp that matters at this rate. And Mount Samurai are already a very interesting unit into Knights, folks. Mount Samurai do not trigger the damage buff that French Knights get for 5 seconds. If Deflective Armor is on and you hit them with a French Knight charge, you didn't register damage, ergo you don't get damage buff. So that's a very important little detail. Add in the Onimusha on top, and you can see a world in which like Anatan's comp just rolls over. In fact, it's going to roll over the tree line right now. Nice jump. Good reactions out of Numi to pull away. Like that he's trying to use this Yumi to raid before they just become irrelevant. Because the more knights in the field, the worse these kind of feel. They almost start to be used as kind of like a toss-away tank unit. What's going on over here? Nimodon never actually picked up the rest of the deer. I guess it would be difficult to get home. It really does feel like the onus in this matchup now is on Numidon to attack. Like, I'm not seeing a weak point for him to strike at. I mean, he's got 12 knights, so you'd think he'd just raid, but that's why Anatan's very smart in his positioning here. Him camping the center is smart. It stops his opponent from just flank rotating, because he'll get in the base at a similar pace. But his army will have more staying power. Because at home, Anatan can build a few spears, some Onimusha, cleave, casual. If Numidon only has archers at home, good luck holding on, honey.
Now you're
And what is up? Holding on for those beautiful raids. Vortex, thank you very much, my friend. Hope you had a good stream. You've been sorely missed in the KPMMs. Hope to see you back soon. Welcome to our second semifinals. Could be very close to just hopping straight into GFs here. And as gamers who sit in our basement all day, most of us are seeking a GF. I can't give you the type you're looking for, but I can give you a Grand Finals. Grand Finals is looking likely to be Wham versus Anatan right now. He's still trying to get these hoes like, oh, maybe? I mean, Numu needs it as well. The fooding... It looks like he will actually deny the deer. Well played. This is becoming quite constrictive. He's playing for the gold on the east side now. Nimu, If they just straight up fight into each other right now, I think Nimu Dan will be forced back underneath his castle. So, like, what he's having to do here right now, it's necessary, but it doesn't feel reliable. And I think Anatan is about to test that statement. Let's prove us right here, because the Yumi are marching in. Numidan does, of course, have the royal bloodlines. He's going to just surge forward. Spear's been held in reserve. The Onimusha are starting to snipe down those lofty knights. Archers, they're trying to target fire the spears, but the Onimusha is an even bigger problem now for Numidan. He's on the ropes, and it looks like the knockout blow is coming. He'll just have to leave the area, but that means the army gets abandoned. There's nothing left for him here. Anatan's going to dive in. He's going to get the GG and flex the new breed of Japanese over another one of the scarier matchups. Yeah, we've heard in the past a lot of talk about how, like, this matchup feels pretty rough. French have crossbows, and you don't, and the game doesn't trend well, but Anatan saying no to entirely, and it means that he will once again be in the Grand Finals, but this time it will not be B. No. Anatan is going to get a grudge match rematch. He just played this matchup in the Hims Cup, where he was able to beat Wham. But now, maybe a little bit less chaotic with KPMM. We'll see if Wham can strike back. Okay. G to the G, Mr. Anachad. A 3-1 scoreline in the end. Means the boys should be drafting shortly. So let me have a look and see if that draft is live. All right, I think Anna is just getting a drink or whatnot. So we'll have Grand Finals in a second. The new unbeatable Japanese, nothing can defeat the Civ. Whoa. Calm down. I mean, they are pretty good, yeah. They've been looking pretty solid. I'm just gonna list those. I'll try to figure out that one out later. I don't know, like this. I don't know if it's worth uploading an entire series. Maybe. I think that one might be uploaded together. Had a very interesting start to it, in particular. Rise of Japanese is one of the most interesting things to ever happen in AoE4. Ever? Don't know about ever. It's quite intriguing, though. Okay, draft just began, so let me reset this whole thing now. We'll update it to BO7 time, baby. Boop, boop. So reminder, every map going to get used potentially this time around, which means finally we will get a canal game, right? Right. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. That also means that Ottoman should be quite a high pro pick, but the surprising part is actually they haven't been picked at all yet. I mean, Japanese plays on Canal very well as well. Opening map is going to be important here with receding. Wham already has got House of Lancaster. Malians or Rus can make a lot of sense for Anatan. Even Japanese actually looked pretty decent there. Mongols gives a bit of flex, but we've been seeing Mongols almost looks a bit baity on receding. They haven't really been delivering. Feels like often you get all this stone and then there's like nothing else to it, right? It just doesn't feel like enough, weirdly enough. Is this the final? It is indeed. Hence why we have updated the title to Grand Finals. By the way, before we get in that Grand Finals, reminder, if you like these type of things, I haven't got confirmation on whether we're going to be doing midweek muster again next season. So we're going to have to start figuring out other ways of getting prize pools, which is why it's so important to always support any sponsor you see on this channel where possible. Easy one for you guys, the Opera GX. While we wait for the draft to complete, ! Opera GX. Go download that browser. Create an account for free, use my link, and it'll make sure they know that I sent you, and maybe we just actually get Opera GX to come back again and sponsor us for another month. Big shout out to them, because it's been I think it's the second month in 3 months they've sponsored us, which is pretty good. Like, for those that don't understand the sponsor market, it is actually pretty tough to come by sponsorships that go month to month to month to month. A lot of brands have moved away from annual sponsorship with paid integrations to seasonal. It's like, even if they think you're really, really great and like really, really good for an integration, they might only like sponsor you 2 or 3 times a year. Where were the moderate finals? The moderate finals were the semi-finals. Finals versus grand finals difference? I mean, finals Thursday is all the finals. We've got the semis into the grand finals. It's the final day of our tournament of the week. And now we have the final matchup. Question is, what is matchup game number 1 going to bring us? Oh. Okay, that. All right, guys. Look at Anatan's draft. Pick 2 civs you would not expect him to pick on receding. List the 2 civs of the 6 that you wouldn't expect here. This is quite interesting. Wham has picked House of Lancaster, which wholly makes sense. They've looked ridiculously effective on that map. Are you Malian? You sure about Malian? Malian has actually been picked a decent amount here. Because with Malians, you've got the pit mine very close by, back gold. You can generate food. Like, one of the issues as the receding goes on is, where am I getting food? Ivids? Ivids would be one of them. The other one would be Jean. It's a Jean pick. Now, that is very curious. I think he's trying to leverage the fact that normally people want to be out on the map against his opponent. Yeah, I wouldn't have expected Jean here. Mustafani Warriors versus Onubagesha Feudal. You don't want to ever do that. Onubagesha will annihilate you. Like, Mustafadi will have a sad time. If you go castle, it's different, because then you get Farimba. And then, like, Mustafadi laugh, because Onubagesha do nothing. What happens when you garrison Jean? Does she get XP? I think I asked someone about that. I can't remember what the answer was. I think she didn't. I'm not sure, though. I'd have to double check. All right. I'm going to run 3 minutes ads, by the way. So if you guys want to get a drink, get something to eat, now is the time. Also, maybe take this opportunity to download that Opera GX we just hyped up and talked about. I'd really love it if we can reach 300. 300 would be betterment on what we got last time we done the integration, which means it will increase our likelihood to get them back again in the future. So click the link. It's literally free, but it does support the channel immensely. Boink. And there's the ads, which will make people think of the other way they could support the channel. Eyebrows, eyebrows. KT is starting to get H3. It's a Civ that plays water quite well. I think you don't want to play spear spam to begin with, though. Yo, what is up, Flodo Baggins? Smart lad. Prime subbed up again for the 5th month now. I see you. I salute you. Let's get sub train going. Remember, guys, we've got a best of 7 ahead of us. That could easily be 4 more hours of streaming. And I wouldn't want you guys to have to worry about all those annoying ads along the way. What can I say? I'm just a thoughtful guy. Just double checking some in the background. Boring without goats in the tournament? Bruh. We got some good players. I know what you're about. Just feels like you just want Marine Lord Beastie jerking off in finals all the time. Like, we've got a lot of good players in AoE4 these days. Like, dude, how are you gonna say we haven't got, like, goats? We got, like, Dimu, we got freaking Anatan, we got B, Wham. Like, sir, huh? I mean, if you're just, like, a Beastie or, like, a Marine Lord fan, boy, like, fine, just say it, but chill. There's plenty of good players here. Imagine supporting and just cheering on good gameplay. That's a crazy one, right? Wouldn't want to do that. Save an image for every time you update the bracket, or do you have the PSD directly in OBS? I don't have the PSD in OBS. Is there a plugin for that? So I have an image, I update Photoshop to bring it in, basically. Oh wait, did I update the brackets? I forgot to, didn't I? Oopsie. So originally I wanted to find a system that would be able to just pull the data from like a Wikipedia page, and I had someone who's like looking into that, but I don't think they ever like made any progress, sadly. But good eyeballs. I'll quickly update that now. Oh, we got a sec. You can do it vanilla. All right, you have to send me a doc on that because I didn't notice it before. That's very handy. Like, that would be nice, because otherwise, like, what I do is every time I just open Photoshop. With this PC, it's not too bad. I can do that without, like, any hit, like, you know, by performance. So, like, you basically would be able to switch this scene and then edit it on the scene is what you're saying. Yeah, that's really handy. That I like. All right, we got predictions up. Nice. You update the PSD file in it. Oh, got you. I understand now. Okay, yeah, that's still really handy. Yeah, it just saves a step, so that's pretty handy. Game number 1 of our grand finals, and curveballs already being thrown. One and all, welcome back to Midweek Muster, where an unorthodox pick has appeared on Receding. The map that you hope you don't look like when you hit 40. That's right, we've got Anatan on Jeanne d'Arc going up against Wham on House of Lancaster. Now, Lancaster has been seen frequently on this map. I think it actually might be the most picked Civ at this point. Makes a lot of sense. This is a map that has got the Forgotten Runes to generate stone, which allows you to get into your manas. The opening spear spam is pretty good due to the gathering rates on sheep, so it gets you the deer shove in. And also, because of the smush nature of a lot of resources, defensive landmarks such as the Lancaster Castle can feel pretty cushy. Jean, on the other hand, is a bit of a puzzling question mark. I guess you could just play standard knights into pro scouts, and also because it's a map where you know your opponent wants to be out on the stone, they're probably going to invest in units, which means Jean will get to fight. I haven't really seen how good or bad Jean is at diving, static, and placements either, because it feels like she very rarely goes up against Lancaster in tournaments. Wait, they're adding a bracket module to like OBS? That's pretty handy. That'd be nice. Yeah, I was saying with like these brackets, like the ideal thing is I wish there was like a system that you could just pull from a Liquipedia entry page to populate. I don't know how you'd be able to cleanly do that. Like probably some sort of AI assisted thing where it knows and matches names to places. We do have bull shenanigans over here. Wham has got the spearman. Wham should win this. Antan's goal isn't to capture merchant camp, it's just to try and deny his opponent. VMix, the 3K OBS alternative that does the same thing as OBS? Well, that's not true. The difference is like when you need multiple people. Yeah, like if you're a one-man production, I don't really rate VMix. The moment you got more people, that's when it makes sense. Okay, so school cavalry on the way. Pretty much everything standard here. I'm disappointed at the lack of Chamber of Commerce on this map that has not got a trade post. It's outrageous. Good late game of Hull here. Those carrots will do some serious damage. Yep. Do I rant about those? I think if I had to list the most broken units in Age of Empires 4, I think the carrots might be the most broken. For those that don't know, House of Lancaster has, I think it's like Pride of the Fleet or something like that it's called. It's a tech in King's College that increases the damage, range, and health of carrots by 20%. Which with Admiralty on as well gives you 12 tile range on those boats. Now, we're probably not going to see it here. It's not often we get to that phase of boating. I think so far in Receding, we've had that phase of boating happen once with Chinese into the giant Boucher ones. Even then, actually, I think that game ended up being a loss for the Boucher one boys. Lancaster Castle, as expected, is going to be dropped on the front side. Wham is going to be producing more spears. I think this is for the additional deer shaft. Yeah, Anatan doesn't really look to be contesting it right now. So by the time he realizes what's happening, the deer is probably going to be very close to the mana spam. So good read, good timing by Wham. Anatan, I mean, I guess this is just going to be a good old-fashioned Archer Knight Ram all-in timing. We've seen this from French before, and it's looked pretty good. Difference there is, of course, French accelerates economy a bit better this early on to get into those details. VMix has so many things that are missing that could be filled by the community, but isn't. Yeah, but like, what's the value player filling it by the community? I haven't looked into it much, but I don't know if VMix actually offers like to pay people to develop those things. They probably don't care at that pricing. It's kind of like saying, oh man, Adobe could do so much more with all these community elements. It's like, they don't need to. Everyone already pays them so much stupid money. So we have got decaps in the way. This is really good for Manasand. With the Knights, he'll be able to easily clean up the villager. So I guess for Wham, maybe you're trying to like just bait a timing here where you run a spearman in and then run the villager out. Because otherwise, Lance Charge Club, dead. He's even bringing the scout over to decap faster. Like, tick-tock goes the clock, mother ducker. Gets the charge in without any brace from the spears. Nicely played. A little bit of micro outplay there by Anno. Whoop. Does actually go after a full HP spearman instead, though. Oh, no. Well, that was disastrous. There was a half HP spear begging to be stabbed to death. Got completely ignored. So -1 knight for Anatan. Nothing lost for Wham so far. And that gets him the space to get the villager home. And I think he's just switched over to active gathering. So he's not trying for any of these shenanigans on the POIs now. Photopia and DaVinci Resolve keep Adobe far away. I haven't checked out Photopia. I've been hearing good things about DaVinci. I think, like, for most people with Adobe, Photoshop is still the one that, like, has the brag and pull power. And then maybe, like, the AI gen tools. But Premiere, like to me, quite often Adobe Premiere just feels very basic, and also has some very dented issues with like encoding issues. I noticed that was like a very big problem when I tried to encode in AV1. It wouldn't accept that format. Luckily, as a business, I can just business expense these stupidly expensive things. Although that does mean less money. I don't have much money. Wham is on his way to much money, though. Third mana coming in already. I think you just, like, start scaling army soon, right? Because you got to be a bit cognizant of the fact that, like, Anno could start to prep towards, like, an all-in timing with Rams. If you have no military to defend, good luck killing those Rams. Archer is getting medical to the ball, so more XP come for Anno. Yeah, the funny thing as well, by the way, like, you guys know why Adobe is so popular, right? It's pretty much because they bribe universities and whatnot. Like, they give them free access to these services, or very heavily discounted access, so they just go for them by default. It's similar with why Mac is so popular amongst like the Adobe and Photoshop community. It's not because for some reason it's better on that platform. It's just Apple had the genius idea to just like very much subsidize purchases of like Macs into universities, knowing that after people complete uni, they don't even know how to use Macs. I feel bad for those guys. I also feel bad for Anatan. The Demi Lancers have arrived, and that is a range on. Oh no. Oh, she could just be dead. Like, there's no running away from this. You have no armor either. That tickle of 8 damage actually adds up to quite a lot. Jean down. Does at least take one Demi Lancer with her. But not a great trade. And it's about to look a lot worse for Anno in game number 1 as Wham is about to trigger an age up. Likely a white tower. Actually, I think you could just go, yeah, King's College. Because if he gets the Collar of S's, his knights win. Man, this is heating up too much. I was then getting ready. I thought they were going to go chill to go into a whole discussion about like what Adobe does with colleges and how MasterCard, etc. does the same with finances. But we'll save that for another time. Because this feels like the do or die moment now. And Anatan looks very much ready to die. 5 knights to his name. Wham is about to auto upgrade his 4 mini knights, and then with Collar S's, he'll add in like another 60% damage on each of them against heavy. Yeah, I guess at that side, at that stage, the positive is at least you didn't get melee Jean, who would have taken even more damage, but it's a small positive. I like the idea of what Anna was thinking here, by the way, of Jean. It's like, remember, it's much easier to snipe Lancaster in villages compared to other villages on Goldstone, etc. Because those ones would have outposts next to them. But with Lancaster, you think that a manor is good enough. A manor might fire back, but a manor doesn't let you garrison. So conceptually, the idea is cool. It just feels like Anatan wasn't able to hit a timing. I'm wondering if that timing was really ever there. Meanwhile, I'm definitely outplayed him on the opening when we saw him get that spearman hit into the knight. That was a really critical moment. Saved a villager and also killed a knight. Now, wow, I'm just going to run around circles while he waits for the tech. Collar of S's is 30 seconds away, and then I think we're like maybe 30 seconds on top of that away from Anatan throwing in the towel. He hasn't really got a tech up on the way. His knights are worse than the enemy knights. And Jean is nowhere near level 3. Yeah, this is looking like a 10-minute beatdown. Yo, chill, Crackety. Yeesh. You guys ever realize you could just like funnel through an AI to like redo this video and replace Adobe everywhere with bees, nested bees? And it would be very on point for Crackety. All right, charge in. Goes to the body block. It's gonna have to torch down instead. Not worth it right now. Better just keep scaling. Anatan looks pretty stuck. And the color of S's means this fight is now going to be insanely hard. Divine Restoration already got used. He's even just peeling away all the injured Demi-Lancers. Just denying any potential for that level 3 Jean. I know, now in the staggered retreat. This is the other thing about Jean, she compromises you. You can't just run away. You have to guard her. Does get the recharge. But now it's barely any Demi-Lancers and just raw Better Knights. It's ridiculous. It's 30 damage compared to 19. And that's Jean now chopped down. That, folks, should be GG. So, Wham, going to be taking a very early lead here against our reigning champion. I mean, we did talk about this being an unorthodox pick. I wonder what the deeper thought was for Anna. Maybe it was just that idea of being able to casually snipe villages one by one. I mean, organically, that has been how Jean has thrived a lot in the past. Seems like he doesn't want to wave the flag just yet. I think like Anatan doesn't quite see the full breadth. Like he doesn't have the vision we do, right? But he's going to be starting to feel it. His pocketed resources are getting shut down. The knight count is over double in favor of Wham. This is something I kind of dig about Lancaster compared to English. Is like, although they have these yeomen that make you think they are a ranged civ, they're actually like secretly a very good cavalry civ. Colorvesses is one thing. Then there's the Hobalars with the hill training. There are a lot of unique cavalry elements to them. Which kind of show on the wrong foot when you think of Agincourt. But this one is going to go the way of history. English on top in G1. Does the villager deposit the resources when assigned to another task? Stone to wood, for example? What are you talking about in general? So villagers will deposit resources in the drop-off building, or if you construct a new building, they will immediately try to drop off the resources as long as they're not interrupted. So, like, that's actually a more efficient thing to do sometimes than, like, let's say you're chopping a tree line, but you're going to walk further out towards gold. Instead of dropping off the lumber camp, sometimes it's better to walk out to the gold. You build a mining camp, and then they drop off with it. So you'll see that in high level a lot as well, because it does come in handy quite a bit. All right. So G1. Wham kicking us off with a lead. And we are going Canal. Wow, no time wasted here. It's going to be the Ottoman pick. So Ottomans against Mongols. A lot of spears is about to be on our screen. And the Mongols used to feel really good here because of the trade options. All right, going to run a minute of ads, guys. Doink. What an interesting one. I'm actually excited. I haven't seen Canal in so long. Wait, what do you mean kicks by new tags? Oh, what? The videos have new tags? Yeah, that's my new guy. Shout out to him. I don't know if they want it to be known who they are. But they're working on things in the background, which I love. Do you prefer using DaVinci because the Fusion tab and color grading tab is so much better? Interesting. I haven't really looked into it that much. I haven't focused too much on like video editing because I'm so much of a freaking perfectionist. I know I'd hate it. Wait, he can like as the man. He's an editor. He's signed as an editor on the YouTube side. I didn't realize he could pretend to be me there. Lamau? I have been impersonated. All right. Anyway. One and all, it's a classic returning here in midweek muster. Oh my god, I haven't seen this map in so long. It's Canal. To some of you a dream, to many probably a nightmare, but we've got a fun one here. Anna's hand on the Ottomans going up against Wham on the Mongols. A classic spear bout. It's been a hot second, folks. I'm actually excited to see this. So a little bit of peer behind the veil. This is the most banned map of this week by far. Nobody wanted to play this. I don't know if that's really as much a hit at the map as it is a hit at the fact that there's another qualifier going on right now and that doesn't feature this map. right? Because like, we always try to be thoughtful of tournaments around us to include like usually at least 1 or 2 maps the tournament's going to have so that players can also feel like they get extra practice value. But I also like to have new maps coming in to test new things, but also maps that aren't there so that people who want to hide strategies don't feel like they're just exposing themselves. So like it kind of, that way invites everyone to want to participate. But yeah, Canal, for whatever reason, has been neglected. I thought we'd see more of it picked just because of how good Ottomans in particular have looked in the current meta and historically how good they were on this map. Yeah, I missed this map, man. This one's a cool one. I'm a little bit gutted we won't be seeing Knights Templar. You can see they actually got banned by both players. Because Knights Templar would be very intriguing on this map with the close and far sacred sites. I actually think like this could be A tier. I don't want to say S tier map for KT because they were probably stuck in the racks off at the start a little. So, Ottos, really cool thing about Ottomans and why they feel good on this map. We always talk about the Vizier points, but even this is super high value. You can afford a dock into a Rax and pay almost the same price as your opponent getting a Rax. Remember, the dock's only 90, the Rax is only 90. Meanwhile, for Wham, he went Uvu, and that's already 150. He doesn't want to oblige the Rax play. It's going to be a rush into Feudal. Interesting. We used to actually see Mongols who tried to take this fight, and when Canal was being featured in EGC tournaments, what people quickly learn is like you don't contest Ottomans on Dark Age. It feels horrible because the more spears you spam, the worse it gets. It's a great read. Just goes for the bypass. That's going to give him access to the archers swiftly. Anatan will likely try to play forward for a dock on a delay here. He has still got the villager out in the open. In fact, what would have been cool is if he pushed this deer in towards the dock, because then he could have just been gathering and hanging around here. But I think instead it's just going to be a rush second dock. Probably all the way over here, actually. If you can test your opponent's side, he can't get on top of it. Like, you can essentially set up here, tech behind, and then follow him with an archer ship. Interesting. They have a funky TC placement as well, but if you're wondering why did Wham do this, it's because of the spear attack. If he pulled the TC back on the tree line like you normally would, he wouldn't be able to touch his gold. So this keeps options open. Sheep count is looking damn good, by the way. 25 sheep to 4. You did just hear me correctly. Now, the corners haven't been checked. But the fact that Wham somehow has 25 sheep, while his opponent only has 20% of that, is absurd. I mean, he's at least got the fishing, so it's not the end of the world. We do, however, have a dock attempt, but the spearman is going to be there. Yeah, so it's going to end up with both of them losing their unit by the looks of it. The spearman should be quick enough to get the kill. And the Khan will get the other one in response. Final charge kicks in. Even if he got past that, there's another spear. So good to know. Wow, I'm a little bit starved right now. He's going to try to sneak out a second. Uh-oh. I mean, he's H2, but we don't have archers. No, he's legitimately just trying to get the dock. What the fish? All right, this villager right here is on a journey, man. What is the idea? This is interesting. We have got Magadai coming. I mean, he's already built an archer range, so it could be a second unit type, like Spearman. I think he just wants to try and sneak an outpost in, maybe. And now? Okay, he's going to be coming back to the safe dock. Got it. I guess maybe he was trying to, like, wedge himself into Anatan's economy. Yeah, because he has the stone. So I think what Wham was considering there was naval arrow slits on the fishing, which was a classic play for Mongols. Instead, he's going to focus on trying to get his own eco up. Tuck up complete. Anatan. If he could deny this villager once, he'll be able to get a boat out. This is big. Yo, wait, what? He's going in. Yeah, he goes for the enemy villager, but that means his own is going to get denied. Okay. It's a big hit there. Worker is going to be brought down. Magadai now returning back to the other side. Anatan, he's got a demo ship on the way. What? I thought it'd be an archer, but no, he's got a demo on the way to try and deny the dock. Is that going to be quick enough? No, it shouldn't be. The dock should be going up here. Yeah, unfortunately, I think he's going to be about 3 seconds late. Then again, I mean, if you hit the Magadai... Oh, whoopsie, didn't want to do that. Oh, nope, 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 nope. Oh, what was that? Oh, my God. All right, the demo disappeared. I'm sorry about that, guys. The problem is there is a button now to switch to regular UI that they never needed to add, in my opinion. Jeez. All right, so that was a mind warp. The explosive ship disappeared. Shocker. Yeah, it, as expected, didn't stop the dock going up. And we do now have naval arrow slits coming out. God, that was wonky. I mean, there's so many buttons here now. The thing is, like, if you ask most RTS gamers, they don't want more buttons. They want more keybinds. Magadai in, though. Good poke on the gold. I just realized we never flipped the top UI, which has also confused you guys. Sorry about that. I'll fix it now. And I need to... Oh, God's sake, I need to flip the score, don't I? Got there in the end. Sorry, it's been a chaotic day. I don't sleep much these days. My kids don't let me. Yo, what? What? No, 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 not the supply! Not the supply! Oh, no. Oh, no. What just happened? Oh, my God. Wait, was that really GG? I mean, I guess he felt that with the Magadai, he wouldn't be able to get out. And your opponent already had double springled. It's maybe like an early GG, but I can kind of see where Antan's coming from. Oh my God. That was quick. It's always sad when you get games like that, because Canal can actually deliver insanely long, epic games. I still remember the first Iron Mirror we cast when Sultan's Ascend released, and it was on Canal. It was between Beastie and Dimmu. And it was one of the best games we saw that year. Okay, that's going to be another point on the board for Wham. Sorry about that click-through, guys. That was a bit awkward. See, this is why, like, I've been begging the devs for there to be a rewind and also a time bar that I can click on. So that if we had a misclick like that, I could just rewind. So you guys didn't miss anything. Oh my God. But yeah, this is looking like a bit of a wash so far. Oh God, excavation's next. Wait, what? Excavation's next, and this is an interesting one. Wham has picked Order of the Dragon. I know he likes his 2TC. But Order of the Dragon's a bit weird on this map. Can you guys figure out why? There's something quite peculiar about them. The points of interest are actually like... They're a nerf specifically to OOTD. Need to completely rebuild their game engine to add rewinds? They should have thought of it ahead of time. Alright. So we need to flip. Let me flip score. Alright, let's get predickies ready. Thank you, thank you. One and all, we have the weirdest pick imaginable on this map. That's right, we are back here in the grand finals on Excavation for game number 3. And Wham has picked the only Civ that sees this point of interest as a negative. Seriously, like this is the only one, guys. So think about it for a second, why? Forgotten Ruins generate a fixed amount of resources by depositing a villager inside. Order of the Dragon villages are inherently, by default, better villages. Do they get 28% more resources off of their 60 stone? No, they just get 60 flat. You have less villages as Order of the Dragon, And you don't get more for the garrison. So this is a little bit of an unorthodox pick from Wham. I think this is due to the fact that like he enjoys 2TC gaming. And this is a way to get towards it, is you can organically gather the stone by garrisoning. We do already have him running out onto the deer. I love this start. Meanwhile, on the other side, we haven't even introduced him yet because Wham's pick distracted us so much. We've got Anatand on the Japanese. Yeah, and he's gone for that Dark Age Rax Rush opening. It's already heading over towards the deer location. He already suspects it. Already scouted it, in fact. Okay, so like Wham, you're gonna hang here, right? You look to leave? Maybe? I mean, you do have strong attacks. Like, funnily enough, these Gilded Villagers hit as hard as a Spearman. And have quite a lot of health. The Wham, I mean, you can hang here until, like, what, 3 spears arrive? Then it gets a bit weird. Just going to start peeling them back one by one. We don't have a rush of wheelbarrows, so definitely doesn't want to start bringing out more workers for this. Didn't garrison the Forgotten Ruins either. Yeah, so I guess maybe Wham's fault is, like, he can get in the Forgotten Ruins if he's not attacked, perhaps? Will be forced home. I think Anatan's quite happy with this. Now, Japanese themselves may seem a bit funky on this map because, like, what do they need that much stone for? But getting the Daimyo level super early can be incredibly impactful. In fact, funnily enough, Japan, we discovered recently, is insane in long Dark Age when you have the Forgotten Ruins point of interest. Because of the stone gen, if you're able to get Daimyo, you can actually build a Katana Bannerman in the Dark Age that has, what did we say it was, chat? Was it 150 HP? I think it's 150 HP and like 10 damage and 2 armor. It's ridiculously tanky for a Dark Age unit. So it's a good thing for Wham that he's skipping out in the age. Minework is already on the way, and he is actively stone gathering. It is going to be the 2TC build that we know Wham and Puppy Paw in particular love. Okay. Spim's going to make his way around, but these are full HP villagers, so if one spear shows up, he's going to die. You kind of need all the boys. Instead, though, they're hanging around for the Forgotten Ruins decap, which is a little bit surprising considering there's no one in here. It's just been captured to be captured. And he does at least get confirmation, but I mean, with the gathering rates of OTD villagers, I don't think you're too concerned here right now. Actually, maybe you need like an extra. He seems confident he'll be able to get enough stone. Otherwise, you would have started to attack these villagers, right? Attack the spearman, rather. Okay. I guess he wasn't confident he can get enough. Maybe things are getting a little bit more worrisome. And yo, we've got Coca. Talk about a rarity. I don't remember the last time we actually saw Coca Township come out. It never gets picked anymore. Safety of Kura Storehouse economically just too good. And Wham, well, he actually just backs away. Okay. But town centers cost 350 stone. We're 100 short. Interesting. I guess he wants to maybe focus on getting the wood, just get an archer out, and then play for the TC. Because, like, in fairness, if you get 2 TC right now, what do you do with it? You've got 10 sheep, so do you really want to be building 2 TC condensed, or would you rather be able to build the TC on something like deer? I think that's maybe the thought process here. That's also scary for Anatan. Because he went Coca, if you open with an archer, like, everything just gets shut down. Yeah, there's a very big reason why you do not see racks into Coca. Because archery, like, counters both. And you always go racks right now. Shinobi have just gone extinct. Yeah, I think the ninjas are going to feel like a nin nopes here. Wow, moment of truth. I mean, what? He doesn't care. He's legitimately committing to this. I guess you kind of, like, sow in the hole, you might as well. Like, you've committed to 250 stone. It's just dead weight economy if you don't go for it. So, yeah, he sends out, what was that, 10? 9. But obviously, they have extra carry capacity, so you'll definitely be able to get enough. Denies 2 of the spearmen. Anasand is on his way with the shinobi, but maybe not quick enough. And wait. He might be. Hold on a second. Wham. You can't be serious. Anatan, the timing. He sees it all. And Wham sees nothing. It's going to be a TC between the double stealth forest on the deer. The boar is also in range. That is an option. But Shinobi, he goes in for the sabotage. And he's already taken so much health off of it. Shiv's come out. Second Shinobi is about to arrive. He's in. And Wham is looking to be out of game number 3. GG called. We are speed running these games. It looks like the age of the ninja is not behind us. What? Guys. It's a grand finals. If we could, like, not end up with a game average length of 8 minutes, that would be great, Ty. What? Oh my god. What is happening? I think you can upload the files as a single video. Dude, I'm feeling that at this rate. Holy crap. I mean, it's like, I might just call this one the weirdest grand finals I've ever cast, because it's been so absurd. Oh my god. Okay. What now? It can't get any weirder, right? We got Roos on Kawasan. Definitely like a bit of a less orthodox pick. Shushi definitely is like the go-to pick alongside Knights Templar. Oh my god. What's happening? This grand finals is like your love life? What, done in 5 seconds? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And off we go. Of course, the day you have off is when it's going to be a quick day. Oh, yes. Okay, are we correctly oriented? Yes. This is quickly becoming the weirdest grand finals I think I've cast in all the midweek musters. One and all, we are back for game number 4 between Wham and Anatan. And okay, let me just list the collective time. The collective time of game 1, 2, and 3 is less than 30 minutes. It's like 27 minutes across 3 games. And I'm honestly not sure what to expect anymore. This is just getting weirder and weirder the more we go. We have got Roos, which made it through the draft, surprisingly enough. Pulled out here. Wham, meanwhile, goes for Shushi, which has been a phenomenal pick here on Kawasan, courtesy of the berry play. Now, Roos, in theory, can be quite good, because they don't care about these Dr. Nile sieves. Remember, this is a sieve that doesn't have to drop off its food at a dock. So, if your fishing boats are just stuck here with no dock to call their own, they can still function. Still wonder if it's the best use of Roos, but the thing for Anatan is if you look at the draft, we are in game 4. And game 4 is important because after it, we're going to have a redraft anyway. So you might as well just punt out whatever remaining powerful pick you have. Roos here in the current year, right? We've actually seen it once last week. I think it was this exact matchup, if I'm not mistaken. Shushi versus Roos, and I believe it was Sortov versus Deniska with Sortov and Roos. He fell miles behind with Roos in the early game. I still somehow found his way into Imperial Age, though. Actually, no, sorry. That was Iabids on the other side against Roos. Or Abbasids, one of the two. And Wham, he is going to be going for that expected play. So straight into the center. He's already just hearing like the slots noises in his head. Ching, 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 ching. This is a pretty good one. So he's going to be able to get his 144 food. Probably going to clip like 2 berries here. So we're probably looking at about like 156, 162 food per minute. No opportunity to yoink a gold, I don't think. There we go. Ooh, even more. Yeah, so he's going to end up getting, we said, what, 100? So you get 144 if you get, wait, no. He missed these. So it looks like it is actually going to end up being 150. Respectable. I say respectable is because actually we quite consistently see 130 to 150. It's only bonkers when it's somehow 190, which is occasionally possible on Kawasan. This is always the funny thing, though, is like, yeah, mirrored hit on the head. Like, release Shushi would have been 200. But what makes that even funny is you have to remember Kawasan was created before Shushi was created. Which means if this map had been featured in tournaments when Shushi came out, oh my god, it would have been the most outrageous. It might have actually been in one of the smaller tournaments now that I think about it. I'm trying to remember, like, back then. It's been so long ago. I think we were banning Shushi a lot because, remember, when Shushi first came out, they had a bigger radius, but they also had this bug that allowed them to lose the landmark, rebuild it, and it would double the resources. So, Wham, now following up with the dock drop, we've been seeing this a lot out of Shushi. If you're going to walk out the center, you might as well stay around to ruin everyone's day. Fishing Fanatand is not looking great. It's only 1 fishing boat so far. Golden Gate is going to be on the way, so you can exchange across, but it doesn't matter. The dock is already up, which means you're going to be stuck in a back-and-forth fight here. Against the Sith that already has got 150 extra food. Mazel tov. Nice Sprung ship on the way. Oh, I like that from Anno. Yeah, this makes sense. I think you don't really want to boat off here against Shushi, so Naval Arrowslit's a lot safer. Wham could try to counterplay that by now setting up like a Ford Rax. But he's more interested in the boys on the ships. Now, what is quite intriguing here is, like, Wham could just now camp this side away from Naval Arrowslits and go for a second dock drop. And I think Anasan's aware of that because he's already moving out for his own pond drop. Good read. Wham, still a little bit too honed in on this one site. Is he maybe gonna outpost? No. I mean, you could. I guess he just wants the villager to repair. A demo ship is coming. And yeah, great read. Wham's going to deny it. The demo could actually catch the villager, but it looks like Anatan actually cancels. And requeues. Okay, this is getting a bit weird. The villager has disappeared. He's hiding inside. Demo now coming out. And wait, what? What? It rallies north. Okay, so demo denied. Now, Anno has bought time for his own dock play on the other pond. So there is an opportunity to fish behind this, but like, look at what damage is. Wham's already taking out this dock. So he did invest a lot in boats, but like his timing wasn't crippling. It's not like he was stuck playing this pond for aggro for like 5 minutes. I don't know, this looks pretty good. And oh, that is a gut punch right there. Anno not able to get an archer ship out quick enough. Wham will be present on both ponds. Why not go between mid-berries and club a sheep dead and deny meditation garden? Because there's still like another meditation garden placement here. And then like a backup one here. And then like, you get why there's multiple ones are the problem usually. Also, watching a scout try to kill their own sheep is quite depressing. It turns out 1 damage is not very quick every 2 seconds. So you'd waste 10 seconds clubbing a sheep. And that's important because like you maybe want to know if your opponent is docking the same side as you do. Or maybe you need the extra food at home. You know, especially in the early game, making these type of choices, you're taking something else away from your plan to get it. War junk out. Lodger already feeling a little bit counted. He has got his own attack ship. A second dock is also coming up. Antand is now queuing up the demos. Yeah, Archer ship is still 14 seconds out, but can he finesse this? I think it'd be very difficult with such a small pond. And there we go. He's going to try to shift away. Man, the sails is going to be activated, but the Archer ship is going to be a little bit too late. So I think the best thing you can do is probably deny the scout. Gets the detonation. Have to be careful with Roof's demos. Sometimes they just actually don't connect how they're meant to. The problem is the hitbox is a little bit too big. Or rather, like, the raw ship is too big compared to the hitbox. Let me describe it a better way. So, when you've got a demo ship and they're this fat and thick, like, their explosion point is here, but their contact point is actually to do with the edge of the ship. So, like, where they detonate and where the detonation point originates from tends to be further away for Roost ships than other ones. It's a big part of why Roost went from being a de facto GG win of a pick on water to being pretty underwhelming ever since the rework to sea. Oh, sorry, you're right. Why do I think that the sheep had 5? Yeah, deer have 5. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, 12 sheep. It takes even longer, so it takes 24 seconds. Thank you for that. Yeah, 24 seconds on your scout rotation early on. Like, I mean, just give up already, right? So good news for Anno, he does have fishing. Bad news is Wham is now taking advantage of this to rush Castle Age. Say they're one of the worst for water fighting nowadays, actually. That's what we just said. They used to be one of the best, but ever since the change to the dynamics of water with the demo ship play, I think that roughed them up pretty hard. And yes, the bounty system on top of it made it even worse. Someone made an interesting recommendation with Roost, which I wouldn't mind, which is that maybe Roost ships, maybe Roost fishing boats should have the same behavior that Knights Templar woodcutting does. Where instead of bulk dropping off, they just incrementally drop off. I'd actually be fine with that. I don't think it's a problem right now with Roost. Okay, Mountain Academy coming in. So why doesn't Wham rush Shallow Monks here? I think he just wants Zerg. So, like, sometimes you go Mount Blue Academy because you're going to run out of food. So the idea is, remember, with Mount Blue Academy, when you tax, you get some food from the taxation. But this is all about tempo. He's already got enough food. He's sitting on 15 fishing boats. What he wants right now is Zerg. So, it's going to have a nice comp of Lancer plus Palace Guard here. Pretty smart. Actually, sorry, no, just Lancer. I thought that was a Rax. And with the supervision, this normally gets you down to, like, what, 14 seconds or something? With regional inspection, you're going to be vomiting out Lancers in less than 10 seconds. This timing is disgusting, and in most situations is ill affordable. But with fishing, it changes so much of that. He's already got 3 stables he can afford. Time being, he's not rushing regional inspection, but I think that's a matter of like the gold being allocated to Knights to begin with. High Trade House is going to be on the way. Get your numbers in. There's a little bit of a weird one. Should be okay. Maybe like 122? He's only got bounty level 1. That's part of the problem here. Anno does get the info. He knows the Knights are coming. Regional inspection coming in 35 seconds. I wonder, does he have the wiggle room from Monastery? Yep, there it is. Already on it. Full salute to that play. Makes sense here. The Knights diving into the enemy base is going to draw full attention there. So it just allows you to very organically pick up relics. More's coming up. Anno knows what's on the way. It's smart play by him as well because he's got the back gold. And he is being forced into active gold gathering. Also has the deer as a backup plan in case he runs out of food. High Trade House. Looks like it's going to be 140. Maybe 141. Yeah, pretty damn good for one that looks that bad. I say bad, but there's no such thing as a bad High Trade House. 141 gold on this. Honestly, to get a bad High Trade House, I feel like you have to be trying to get a bad High Trade House. So Lancer spam already looking good. We do have the supervision, so Did he... He didn't resupervise. No. Wait, is it 14 that it goes down to? Oh, now I'm questioning my maths. It's meant to be 150% quicker. Yeah, I think it's normally 18 and goes down to 14. He's going to cancel on low because... What? Bruh, you just got castle like 2 minutes ago. We have Shaolin Monastery already on the way. This is crazy. I mean, this is what water does to you, right? That's why Kawasan can be oppressive, but also sometimes quite impressive, because I almost want to describe Kawasan as an accelerated version of Age of Empires 4 when you do this. Because both sides are getting their raw economy, which means both sides are blobbing up to the late game substantially quicker. Like, in some ways, this is where AoE 4 can be more intriguing for those people that love late game. Because if you do split the ponds like this, you're going to get there. And you're going to get there fast. I know, already fast increasing the spear count, by the way. And Wham's greed. Is it going to come back to bite him? He has Yuan and... Bruh. Like, buy something, please. Is he legitimately going double Castle Imperial in the course of 4 minutes? What? Chinese civs, man. I just... Yeah, it's only 21 fishing boats, as you do. Fishing is only a third of his economy right now. Oh my giddy aunt. What am I witnessing? Anna, in the meantime, has at least picked up 2 relics, so it's not going to be a 5 relic game. One of those relics is going to be paused, though. I'll have to come back for that one. But while Anatan runs around his base to the Benny Hills theme tune, Wham is dreaming about the number increasing. Yep, like a 14-year-old hoping and waiting for when they're 18. Wham is free waiting for when he's 4. Is he just... I've seen a lot of weird library builds recently. Is this a library game? The idea of just going straight into Yuan Raiders is kind of sick. Because your opponent probably won't be well defended. I mean, I say that, he has 23 spears. Temple of the Sun definitely feels like the safe option. It would let you boost the damage on your knights further, which has already been boosted with the 20% attack speed increase. Now on the wall low. It's time. What's it going to be, Worm? Show me the money. Show me the money. I think he's a bit distracted. Yeah, we'll get rid of the horse archers. That is a lot of spears, by the way. We need more Chuganu stat. If only there was a way that we could, with one production building, get a lot of Chuganu out. I mean, there must be such a building that exists. Oh, there it is. Just Chug every 4 seconds. And he's got the Yuan discount. Random one low shenanigans. The Chug should be able to hold on here. The problem is, even if horse archers dive this base, this is not where the food is coming from. So Wham has capacity to get more. His wood is a little bit worrisome. That's the only issue, the only weak point. Might want to consider a marketplace. We've got more pagodas being dropped into. I mean, this is just ludicrous, like. You tried to turn it into an eco race against Shushi. And we got firmly reminded how good this Civ is at playing that race. There it is. It's going to be Temple of Sun. Smart choice. Wait. Actually, no. He's got Chuganu. Yeah. Shushi Library. I was about to say, like, I was like, yeah, smart choice. The infinite... Oh. Don't care about movement speed on ranged. So this is going to be about him rushing 10,000 bolts. Which I think was bugged until recently, if I'm not mistaken. But now that it's fixed, it can be back on top. Now, I usually am actually, like, insanely hypercritical of Shushi's library. I think it's often built in games unnecessarily. Like, people tend to get it and not tech it for so long that they could have just bought it on a delay. But in this type of game, because it's Master Chugnu, there's a very obvious path for WAP, which would be elite tech into 10,000 bolts. Pretty powerful, actually. And is trying to prep the counterplay with horsemen. Wham is lacking range too, but that's going to be fixed now. Imperial reach, the only thing that's really missing here. There we go. Elite upgrade coming in just 13 seconds. This Civ. The supervision tech. 13 seconds. Like, really? It's an elite tech, for goodness sake. Boom. Just like that. 21 damage. Against rangeless units. Horsemen are going to be on the way. They're able to mitigate a decent amount, but they're going to still feel the sting of this. And soon it'll be the sting of 10,000 bolts. Remind you, he only needs the 700 gold for that, which, with 3 relics pagodaed up, is quite feasible. We have issues for Anatan as well. Gathering gold right next to the pond that Wham owns is going to cost him some workers, so good snipe down there. And the Chug, he's invading. Oh, no, 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 kind sir, please. Well, the longest game of our series may be about to abruptly end. Because that, folks, is everyone's worst nightmare when they queue into a water map. Bao Chuan's coming in soon. He's still losing more over here. Yeah, the archer ship can kill the rest of these golders, by the way. Anatan still hasn't realized. So he's going to be behind on raw economy. Landside, the Chuganu are at landslide waiting to just overflow on top of Anatan here. 5 ranged armor against the 8 damage. Times 3. Doesn't make you feel too tanky. Reminder, you are the counter unit. Not from an age behind, you most definitely are not. And this, folks, is pre-10,000 bolts. If that tech even makes it in time. Wooden Fortress goes up, but... Oh, wow, will you look at that? Range siege. $59 of these bad boys. Bao Chuan at least gets denied out, so Wham prepped for the shenanigans. But Anatan was a step ahead. Horsemen are looking to raid. I think that's the correct call. Like, you just can't fight the Chug directly here. There's so many of them. For Canadian brother said range units a week. Yeah, you're right. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure the counterplay here is we just need Anatan to build Nesta Bees and then GG. Oh, wait. If only. All such are at least raiding on the flank. Anatan's trying to buy time to get his tech up. The question is whether Wham is actually far enough ahead that he doesn't have to overreact, and I think he is. Half of his army to commit to the defense, and then half to dive in the enemy base. Well, more than that, 2/3 head on in into Anatan's home. We still do not have 10,000 bolts. This is the easy version. Imagine what this looks like if Wham ever gets the double range unitags. Well, we won't even get to that point. The whole base explodes. That's what happens when Chuganu walk into your home. Oh my god. What a civ. Holy crap. Okay, so we're 1 game away from a Wham dub. Damn. That was crazy. I think this is still aligned to be like the weirdest grand finals we've ever had. There was something weirdly accelerated about that game. Like, even more so than usual, Kawasan, I want to say. Like, I'm used to seeing Kawasan kind of go like, you know, a little bit of contest into secure your side, into zoom. But that was like on a whole other level. That was crazy. All right, so we should have redraft. Let me pull that up now. Okay, so Hull coming through again. China, Shushi, both on one side. Man, Wham's got like all the heavy cav civs. Well, we don't talk about Mongols. That's an embarrassment. But the rest. Yo, Chum, are you here? I think they're using the wrong version of regions. We literally can't watch the game. Because, like, what maps we got left? So, this week we've got... We need to do regions, coastal, and I think Dry Arabia? Is that right? Yeah, they fudged up. Someone has a local version which doesn't exist anymore, and they've initiated a game on it. I'm going to try and ring them. Problem is... Yeah, outdated map. All right. Shout out to Anatand. I think he's like going to get them rebooted. Sorry about that, guys. Because like we couldn't even be like, oh, let them play the game and then we'll watch it later because it wouldn't show up. So we'll get that sorted. Sorry about that, guys. But all good. Ugh. Alright. So we'll get them into a new lobby. They're now setting up. Should be ready to launch in a sec. By the way, while we're waiting, reminder about that up there. I'm going to keep talking about it until I see us hit 300. You want to know why? Because I freaking love Jared Butler in that movie. I want to see at least 300 new users signed up this month to Opera GX, and I know you guys have the ability to help me because it's totally free to do. And I, for one, know how much esports people love things that are free. Trust me, I'm one of you. So, with that in mind, if you guys want to check out a new browser, free of charge, use my link, !Opera GX. We're working with them for the second month. I want to bring them back again. I'm doing a final big haul of a push because I know you guys are capable of delivering it. So if you use my link and download and then create an account, it lets them know that I sent you. And that means we get more monies for sponsors from them. So big, easy win. And it costs you guys no money whatsoever. Big buck. Also, it's made using the same like backend that you'd get on things like Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox. So you're not venturing into dangerous territory, which I know is people's biggest concern. Hey, how do we get onto talking about Turkey? Where'd that come from? Rogan? Is Turkey a part of America? Wait, what did I just walk into in my chat? I think some people need to spend some time on GeoGuessr. Oh, wait, did I say Mozilla Chromium? Sorry, my bad. Not what I meant. My brain. My non-American brain. Oh, right, because it's like... Freedom Day? I don't know which one. You guys have too many holidays. Like, didn't you guys have one on Monday? I can't remember what it was called. I mean, we don't talk about July the 4th. That day didn't really happen. That's like, you know, like we weren't invited to the party and we were too busy and like everything else, so we couldn't turn up. Sorry. Memorial Day. See, we have a different day for that. Isn't Memorial Day the one for the World Wars? So like we have one, but we call it Remembrance Day, and that's in November, where we wear the poppies. Do Americans do that one as well? Or did they just randomly like decide to have a different like Memorial Day for... Because I think Memorial Day is for the World Wars, right? Or am I wrong? They need public holidays because they only get 2 weeks off work. True. And remember, you don't get to, like, you're not meant to take those days. Dude, that's always the most polarizing thing about like American work culture. You get judged if you take the allocated holiday days off. I feel so bad for you guys. Like in the UK, like Your boss is like, yeah, I expect you to take those days off. I'm going to take those days off, right? It's crazy. Memorial Day is for all the military men. Wait, I thought there was one called Veteran Day for that. Wait, no, Veteran Day is the Remembrance Day? Okay, that's confusing. I guess, like, Memorial Day is for all the active military people. And then, yeah, Veteran Day for all, like, those who passed. Wait, Memorial is for the dead? Okay. Can we agree that's a little bit confusing on name standards? Like, I'd think of Memorial Day for Remembrance Day as a name. And then, like, Veteran Day would be, like, the military, like, thank you for your service and the people that are alive and the people that serve and the people that aren't. I'm confused. You just want more holidays to slack off? That's true. I need more holiday days so you can always be ready to do my stuff. I'm going to say MMDDYY. I'm going to say DDMMYYYY because we're sane. So, funny thing, guys. So, like, for those who don't know, I started up an agency about a year and a half ago. We're doing really well. Like, we're doing, well, pretty well. Like, for a boutique agency, we've got some amazing creators. And I'm the only non-North American on the team. There's some Canadians and some Americans. And Americans like, well, Canadians like just our secondary citizens, right? Kappa. But there was a lot of confusion because in our sheets for tracking deals, we have a like date for when the contact point came in and when we signed the contract. And for months and months and months, I was just listing the days in my date format, which is day, month, year. The accountant guy got very confused. He's like, I'm looking for the contract for this, but I have nothing for this month. And they were like, have you been entered? I was like, yep, no one told me otherwise. And yeah, UK rules. So I do, like, one thing I don't like is that in Google Sheets, there should legitimately be a localized option so that if I'm entering the data, I enter it in my format and it shows up for the person who's American's format. I don't know why Google hasn't done that. It's pretty dented. Anyway, let's get ready to go. Send out a red alert because our champion faces elimination here, one and all. This is really happening. Anasand, who was able to unravel B, I think it was 4-1 in the last finals, now risks the same fate at the hand of NA Pride. Wham! On the French, it's actually quite funny how often in history NA has had to rely on French to get them to win a war. But it may be about to happen again. Anasand, looking to make that not the case here on Regions, has picked the Byzantines. Interesting. So Byzantines, we've been seeing a decent amount of picks of this on this map. It's a weird pick. And what I mean, if you ever get out to these berries, you are in heaven. If not, I feel like you're in hell. French on the other side is going to be a pro scout and Civ. We've seen a lot of pro scouts. I've even had one or two players. I think we have Mirrored in here the other day going, I think pro scouts might be a bait on this map. And I can see what he means. Like, it's quite easy for your opponent to remove their deer stack from the map. And yours is so close you could just gather it organically. So that really only leaves 12 deer up for contests. And the big problem is it leaves them all linearly in one direction. I think in this matchup, though, it can make a lot of sense because Byzantines, they're probably going to deploy Limitane to the east side to protect their berries. In fact, everything about this spawn is leaning east. Double berry stack moving that way, even the deer. Americans be like, I didn't know British people had 13 months. Don't get me started on it, man. It's like, it's one of the weird things I've encountered working in like spreadsheets with Americans. They're just like, your dates are wrong. I was like, are my dates wrong or are yours wrong? Wasn't that, I'm trying to remember, wasn't there an argument coming up recently about like changing the yearly calendar because it's technically like off, isn't it? What? I remember someone saying. I couldn't be bothered to look into it too much. Because I roll my eyes at the fact that we even have, like, daylight savings hours existing in the world. Those things always inevitably cause confusion on something every year. And I like this from Wham. Okay, so he's going to be moving out onto the deer. Looking like no pro scouts. This is cool. I think people are starting to realize that, not just on regions, but maybe pro scouts are a little bit overrated in general. French used to be a civ that thrived off the fact that they got to be present on all of the food on the map freely. And then pro scouts came in and they got it discounted and everyone else is picking up the deer, so I need to pick up the deer. But now that a lot of people aren't snatching the resources off the map, or organically playing out into them still, once again, now makes a lot of sense for French. The 13-month thing? Yeah. Even number of days, but Romans didn't like 13. I guess unlucky number, Kappa. Because there's been like 2 main calendar types. I forget the name of the Roman one. Caesar came up with it, right? I think. And then there was another one before that, which I believe, like, the main adopted one was it Zoroastrian? I think it might have been the Zoroastrian calendar. Those are the 2 historically I think were, like, most used. Okay, so Grand Winery going to be coming in as expected. So nothing unorthodox so far. We do have, like, what? 1 on the stone? Yeah, so Anatan, not a double stone boy. Oh, this is a bit tricky, though. Like, Ford Stone is going to make it pretty rough. So we're likely looking at a quite rushed timing into Limitane. I mean, all of his key ore resources are forward-facing. July, August, September, all named after Roman emperors. I'm trying to remember July and September. I mean, August is the obvious one to people, right? September after... Was it Septimus? That's not in the way. Well, I'm already aware of the potential for deer shove is going to look to deny it. And yeah, July, Julius, that makes sense. But September was Septimus, right? I think. And this is all relevant because we're watching the Eastern Roman Empire. Look at that. Archer's also on the way. Well, I'm taking a very aggressive line here, but that's what we kind of expect when we see no pro scouts. I imagine we're looking at a classic Jav Limitane. Makes a lot of sense into French. Also gives you scalability into camels. Nice body block. I like that by Anatan. It's so underrated to do this. Like, the Scout's going to heal over time, so a great blocker unit against Knights. Especially with the way that this plays, because you can just stand in the choke point so that the Knight can never get the villages. And also, if you take away the initial charge, you can save villages easily. The reason why villagers die so quickly to Knights is that first hit, because that first hit enables the second strike to be an insta-kill. And remember, because of the attack intervals, that second strike comes very quickly. Like, if it was 2 sword strikes, that's 3 seconds. If it's lance into sword, it's 2 seconds. Looks like we did have a villager trying to sneak out. Or rather in. Wham. What? Okay, that's kind of crazy. He's gone for an outpost rush here. At 6 minutes into the game against Byzantines. I mean, I know this civ is vulnerable to outpost rushes, but that's crazy. But the archer's already here, though. It makes sense. Oh, my God. And Anatan's reaction. He's going Keshiks. Needs to be careful with the worker. I think maybe a bit of a slipsy doodle there. Yeah, wham. He didn't expect the shield wall to carry that hard. So Anatan able to dodge death there. It's going to be cancelled on the outpost. I mean, if you're Wham, I think you're kind of happy about this, though. No, words. I'm so confused by it. He has Keshiks. But... So what? I wonder what the thought is behind Keshiks here for Anno. Maybe he wants to cut reinforcements because it's a rush? I like how Marine Lord always turns up without failure just to criticize. Wait, Marine Lord, I thought you're on the Wham cheer bandwagon because Anatan's ego is getting too big, in your own words. So Keshik's revealed. I wonder what Wham's thoughts are right now. Like, are you pretty content with this? Because if Anatan's stuck defending, like, javelins would have been more threatening, no? I mean, he's going to bail on the archers. This does leave Anatan with a pretty tumultuous scale point. I don't really know if you ever want golems in this matchup. I don't think you do. So I guess you could argue that means you only scale heavy cav, but you know, we've dissected on this channel many times why this contract sucks. Melee units as your mercenary feels bad because they're the limited thing for you. You can't build many of them because of having access to all of them, right? They're your premium unit. So it makes a lot of sense for that reason why Archer Javelins is seen almost every game. It's much easier to keep those alive. They're your back line. The Keshiks is a front line, and in particular against French Knights. I think for Anno, this has to be about raiding. He's even trying to wall to maybe enable him to do so, but great charge there. Wham! Doesn't leave any wiggle room for the brace. And also, there's Limitane. Like, did they even strike back maybe once? No, like the attack speed reduction seemed to just kind of kill him on that one. So he's going to weave round, so still we'll get into the back of the base. Walls are in on the backside. Keshiks are trying to cut reinforcements. I think, wow, the only thing that's really missing here is a timing distilled arrow, but look what Anatan's up to. Horseman archers now. Is he trying to force Wham to build spears? That would kind of explain the archers, right? Knights try to dive in. Akratoy defense activated, but we'll scare him away. This is a weird game. I mean, like, I've lost count of the amount of times in this grand finals I've said this is weird. I kind of dig the chaos of it. And there's the stilled arrow I've been waiting for. So that's something that Anatan is behind on. But the nice thing about playing Byzantines is you can be behind on blacksmith tech because of how quick you research them with Dialecticus. So it's going to be coming in now. And even though you can see Wham's already got like, what, a 30-second head start, you can catch up. You can actually match that timing. It only takes you 32 seconds. Wham now extending onto the ball, so accelerating his food gathering rates. By the way, we actually did get pro scouts in the end. A very funky way of doing it. But it's coming home. The other funny thing, by the way, is you can see how much Wham thought that outpost was going to go up because he did actually gather a stone for the arrow-slits. Is Wham French-Canadian, though? No, he's Moose Canadian. Actually, I'm trying to remember, like, didn't they say where the origins are from? Because their name is, I think the last name is Eastern European, if I remember correctly. Because it's Svoboda, right? Okay. Oh, Freya, you going to bed? Night-night. Of course she comes to visit me. With your big belly out. There. Right, who's belly out exposed in this one, though? I mean, Anatan should scale quicker with this lineup, maybe? I've got a co-caster for potentially the final game of the week. Say hello, stream.
Hello, Dream.
Say, quick, get a sub train started. Louder.
Something.
Say, bye-bye, stream. I'm going bed.
I know the bed.
Low kisses.
What that?
That's the microphone. You said bye-bye. Bye, Freya. Go to mummy. She's very good at mimicking. Although she does rush the words when she's not sure. Okay, so Looks like the dynamics have changed a bit, right? Anatan, I mean, this Keshik play looked a bit funky, but I like how he's made it not about the Keshiks. It's like a nice little incremental raid effect, but it's just raw bulk instead. And the Horseman's like an interesting padding for the raids in between, where you don't necessarily lose the Keshiks. The Horsemen are just the meat. Going to bed already? It's 7 p.m., mate. She's 3 years old. When are you putting 3-year-olds to bed? Something Ram is going to try to approach you into the berries. Only a single one, though, so it needs a lot of space and time. Wham is maintaining archer lead. The problem is the cavalry is getting a bit awkward. I think there was a point where Anatan looked decent here, but like obviously as the night count scales up like this, you're basically 1-to-1 matching. That's not great for Anno. The other risk is like the more you do this, the more likely Wham techs. And who are you going to favor with attack? Are you going to favor Horsemen vetted or Knights vetted? The interesting part about that is the fact that Wham is the one still consistently pushing here. He's got second Ram now coming. This 3-year-old goes to bed at 8 p.m. So like people do it different ways. So for example, one of Emma's friends like doesn't put her kid to bed until like 9 p.m. But it's kind of born out of a selfish element of like she wants to sleep in herself. Whereas I'm like the late riser, Emma's the early riser. But I'm the late to bed. She's going to be put to bed in this one Knights. Not really even attacking. No, so just a lot of damage being taken. And had a great defense here. So a lot of archers get culled. Now, the important thing is you're noticing Wham is highly coveting those knights. He's trying to make sure he doesn't lose any. Spear and retreat now. Kind of abandoned. So yeah, he gets rid of the rams, but it comes at a price here. Dive's going to be in, and with this many knights, yeah, you just go for the burn through. Okay, so Anno about to lose 5 villagers. He's going to try to square up for a defense. Needs to be fast about it. 2 more torches is all it takes. We'll hold those out. So there you go. Villagers on the front line. We'll turn around to club a few. Spear count is low, though. He's only got 6 Limitane against these 15 knights. And this feels like an unattainable hold. Anatan, he tries to rush up another outpost, but that's not going to do anything for him. So forced back into the base. In what could be his final game of KPMM 26. And wait, no! He selects the military. Okay, so I know exactly what this is because it's the type of behavior that I have set because it's so much nicer. Remember, guys, there's a setting so that when you select army, you don't select workers. And that's what happened there. I think Anatan selected all on the box drag, clicked away, but then the villagers weren't selected. Now, Wham, going into Castle Age, this game becoming too expensive for Anatan to keep up with. And there we go. Christian Bishop in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. An American trying to take ownership of a Canadian here. I know that esports is tough for NA right now, but come on. That's why we need to get the GUAs and the Blades signing up to the midweek musters again. Where's Jiggly with the insta-ban on Byzantines every draft? Anno's doing his best to try and stay alive with these little raids. He has got level 4 systems, so like the interesting thing is economically, actually Anno's ahead. Like quite a bit. Remember, like 51 to 51, and then you got this 20% increase in gathering. That equates to an extra 10 workers. So Anatan's definitely not dead yet, but this is looking a bit shaky. The castle up was Royal Institute, which means there is going to be raw bloodlines, i.e. unkillable knights. Well, the problem is, like, we can't really get Faye to sign up. She's a bit, bless her, she wanted to, but the problem is Faye has degen hours. So her scheduling wouldn't make sense. Like, she'd be wanting to play at, like, 7 a.m. when most European players are, you know, playing towards the midday evening. And we do indeed have a show match tomorrow. It's going to be a fun one, actually, featuring one of these two. Anatan's going to be going up against Wham's brother on a brand new game mode. I'm freaking excited for that as well. See, look, you say something about America, and that gets all of them to start talking in chat. There's Yaki as well. Big shout out to him, doing some charitable work for a big foundation in America now. Former esports aficionado. He somehow escaped it. Me, I'm stuck here forever. Shaking my little coin can. Hoping the gifted subs come in. Hoping that the esports events come in. Hoping that we get a game number 5. Wait, 6. Then math hit a bit too hard at home there. Fortifications are in, so it's going to be a slow burn. But Anathan's... I mean, 31 Limitane. If you can't defend this tower with 31 Limitane, what can you defend it with? He's going to march them in. The problem is these are vet archers. They do hurt. And the knights with royal bloodlines don't die fast either. Yeah, it's kind of weird that 30 Limitane actually doesn't look that scary. The other concern is Wham's probably thinking about a monastery next, so he'll be able to start hoovering up relics.